You wouldn't believe how many men I've met, good, hard-working men, who walk into my clinic carrying a secret they've never shared, not even with their wives. It's not just the midnight bathroom trips or the slow stream that never quite feels finished. It's the fear that something deeper is happening, something they don't want to name, something that whispers. Maybe it's the daily habit you've had for years. Maybe that's what's hurting you. I've seen that fear etched in their faces. Shame, confusion, silence. So let's talk about the unspoken daily masturbation after 60. Is it silently destroying your prostate, or could it actually be saving it? Before we go there, let me introduce myself properly. I'm Dr. Mark Hyman, MD. I've spent over 30 years in functional medicine and men's health, helping thousands of patients reverse chronic illness, reclaim vitality, and most importantly, understand the truth about their bodies. I've taught at the Cleveland Clinic, published numerous best-selling books, and built one of the world's most trusted platforms for science-backed wellness. But all that aside, what drives me isn't just science, it's the stories. It's sitting with men in my office, hearing their quiet questions, and watching their shoulders drop in relief when they finally understand they're not broken. This topic. It's one I've wanted to address for a long time, because far too many of you are suffering in silence, believing something about yourselves that just isn't true. So, if you're over 60 and you've ever wondered, is this habit hurting me? I need you to stay with me. Not because it's awkward, but because what you're about to learn might just give you back your confidence and your health. I remember a man named Jim, a retired postal worker from Ohio, 67 years old, always wore a ball cap and carried himself with quiet pride. He came to me for what he called a checkup, but what he really wanted was reassurance. After some small talk, he leaned in and whispered, "Doc, is it bad that I still, take care of myself down there every day?" He wouldn't meet my eyes. I've had this exact conversation more times than I can count. Jim's question is the same one burning in the back of many minds. Is daily masturbation causing harm to my prostate? Most men don't ask it out loud. They live with the unease, worried that they're slowly wearing themselves down, draining testosterone, inflaming tissue, risking cancer. That fear doesn't just affect the body. It eats away at peace of mind. But here's what I told Jim, and here's what I'll tell you. Science says the opposite might be true. A landmark study out of Harvard followed over 31,000 men for 18 years. It didn't just skim the surface. It tracked lifestyle, health outcomes, and yes, ejaculation frequency. And what they found flipped the narrative completely. Men who ejaculated 21 times or more per month had up to a 33% lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to those who only did so 4 to 7 times monthly. Jim stared at me. "Wait, you're saying I've been doing something right all these years?" Exactly. This isn't about encouraging compulsive behavior. It's about understanding your biology. Ejaculation isn't a sin against your health. It might be your body's built-in maintenance system. And yet, that still leaves the deeper question: why does it work? What's happening inside your prostate that makes release so protective? That's what we'll dig into next. When Jim came back for his next visit, he brought me a question that caught me off guard. He said, "Okay, Doc, I get that it might help, but how does it help? What's going on inside?" That's when I introduced him to something few people outside the medical field have heard of: the prostate stagnation hypothesis. I asked him to picture his prostate like a small fluid factory, quietly sitting just below the bladder, working day in and day out to produce the nourishing fluid that makes up semen. But like any factory, if the output isn't flushed out regularly, things start to back up. Fluids thicken, debris settles, and those pipes inside the prostate begin to clog. Science calls this stagnation. I call it a slow storm. Over time, as men age and ejaculate less frequently, this buildup creates an internal environment ripe for inflammation, pressure, and even the beginnings of disease. It's like a car you never change the oil in eventually. It seizes up. But here's the good news. Regular ejaculation acts like a flush, a natural clearing system. When you release, you're not just easing tension, you're pushing out old, potentially harmful fluid, keeping the inner workings of your prostate clean and mobile. I've seen it with my own eyes. Patients, like Jim, who start experiencing fewer symptoms, less pelvic heaviness, better flow, even improved sleep, because they're not waking up 3 times a night to urinate. It's not magic, it's maintenance, and it works with your biology, not against it. But flushing is only part of the story. There's a deeper layer one that's happening at the microscopic level inside every man's body. It's the hidden rhythm of life itself, cell turnover. And if you ignore it, that's when trouble can begin. Let me explain. I still remember a conversation I had with a man named Walter, a retired construction foreman in his early 70s, strong, sharp, and no nonsense. When I explained to him what I'm about to share with you, he looked me dead in the eye and said, "So you're telling me this is like clearing the site before the mold sets in?" And honestly, he nailed it. Here's what I mean. Your body, including your prostate, is constantly renewing itself. Every day, millions of cells divide, replace, and regenerate. But here's the thing. Every time a cell divides, there's a tiny chance it could make a mistake in its genetic code. And when those mistakes pile up, especially in a sensitive gland, like the prostate, that's where the seeds of cancer can form. This is why healthy cell turnover is so critical. And here's the connection. When you ejaculate regularly, you encourage that renewal. Your body clears out aging cells and replaces them with fresh, healthy ones. It's like resetting the foundation before cracks start to form. Think of it like spring cleaning for your internal systems. Without it, those old damaged cells sit there, potentially becoming dangerous. With it, you give your body a chance to stay ahead of the curve, to protect itself the way it was designed to. This isn't just theoretical. Multiple studies, including the Harvard study we talked about earlier, point to this biological renewal as one of the key reasons why men who ejaculate frequently have a significantly lower risk of prostate cancer. It's proactive, it's preventative, and it's profoundly underutilized by men who think they just need to tough it out or slow down with age. But this biological rhythm isn't the only factor that plays into your prostate health. There's another layer, something I've seen sabotage even the most health-conscious men, and it doesn't start in the body. It starts in the mind. There's a saying I often repeat to my patients: what happens in your mind never stays in your mind. One of the most overlooked but powerful drivers of prostate issues, especially in men over 60, is chronic stress. And not the kind that shows up in a blood test or imaging scan, but the kind that quietly simmers beneath the surface, day after day. I had a patient named George, 66 and a retired accountant. He came to me complaining of frequent urination and pelvic discomfort. After ruling out infections and serious conditions, what stood out wasn't physical, it was emotional. George had been carrying decades of built-up pressure job stress, family expectations, silent worry about aging, all of it wrapped tight in his body. That's when I explained the biochemical reality of stress. When you're under pressure, your body produces excess cortisol, the stress hormone. This doesn't just tighten your shoulders or give you headaches. It fuels systemic inflammation, including in your pelvic region and prostate. Muscles tighten, circulation slows. Your entire lower body becomes a zone of tension and restriction. Here's where ejaculation, yes, even through masturbation comes in. It's not just a momentary release, it's a full body reset. When you ejaculate, your brain floods your system with oxytocin, dopamine, and endorphins. These natural chemicals lower cortisol, relax tense muscles, and reduce inflammation. They give your prostate a much-needed break. George began practicing mindful release twice a week, paired with light walking and deep breathing. Within 2 months, his symptoms eased, but more than that, his outlook shifted. He felt calmer, more in control, and, as he said, more like myself again. That's the piece most men miss. Prostate health isn't just mechanical, it's emotional, too. And if we don't release the pressure we carry, it builds silently until something breaks. But even if you're doing everything right, ejaculating regularly, managing stress, there's one hidden threat still holding many men back. Let's talk about it next. I call it the prostate clog. It's not a medical term you'll find in textbooks, but every experienced physician who works with older men knows exactly what I'm talking about. Imagine this. You're doing all the right things, eating clean, staying active, managing stress, even maintaining healthy sexual habits. Yet, something still feels off. You wake up several times a night. You feel like your bladder never fully empties, and that low, nagging pressure in your lower abdomen refuses to go away. That's when I explain the hidden culprit: internal stagnation. Over time, as men age, the prostate can become less elastic, its tissues stiffening, circulation slowing, and fluids thickening. It's like a garden hose left in the sun, bent, twisted, and resistant. The result: hardened layers of residual fluid, microinflammation, and what I call blockages that restrict natural flow. Dennis, a 69-year-old retired airline pilot, sat across from me one day and said, "Doc, it just feels like something's stuck." His PSA was fine, no signs of infection or cancer, but his symptoms were real, and his frustration even more so. This kind of internal clog doesn't show up clearly on tests, which is why so many men are misdiagnosed or told everything's normal when they know it's not. So what's the fix? Ejaculation helps, but it's not enough. You need to enhance circulation, reduce deep tissue inflammation, and support the prostate's natural flexibility. For Dennis, I recommended targeted pelvic floor stretches, infrared heat therapy, and a daily supplement blend of pomegranate extract, green tea, turmeric, and saw palmetto. Within weeks, he noticed a difference. Not a miracle, but momentum. His stream improved, the urgency lessened, and most importantly, he felt hopeful again. Remember, you're not just getting older. Your body's speaking to you, and there are answers. And now, We're getting to the part every man over 60 should know: the 5 daily steps that build a resilient, healthy prostate for life. Let's talk about the 5 daily habits I've seen transform the lives of my older male patients. These are not magic pills or radical changes. They're simple, natural routines that build a foundation for long-term prostate health. First, nutrition. This is where everything starts. Your prostate is highly sensitive to oxidative stress, and one of the most powerful protectors is lycopene. You'll find it in cooked tomatoes, watermelon, and pink grapefruit. I often tell my patients, add 2 servings of these to your weekly meals, and you'll be amazed at what happens over time. Lycopene concentrates in the prostate, and it helps reduce cell damage at a genetic level. Second, green tea. You've probably heard it's healthy, but it's more than that. It's a botanical powerhouse. The catechins in green tea have been shown to reduce inflammation and even slow the progression of prostate cell changes. I recommend 2 cups a day, morning and early afternoon. It's a small habit with serious payoff. Third, movement. And no, you don't need to hit the gym. Just 30 minutes of brisk walking 5 days a week can improve hormone balance, support blood flow, and help your body regulate prostate size. Movement is medicine. Period. Fourth, cut the poisons. That means smoking and excessive alcohol. They not only increase overall inflammation, but have been linked to more aggressive forms of prostate disease. You don't need to quit everything overnight, but reducing these will pay off far more than you think. And fifth, be proactive. Don't wait until something goes wrong. A simple PSA test once a year can catch issues early, when they're easy to treat. Many men avoid it out of fear or embarrassment, but I promise, knowledge is power, and early detection is not weakness, it's wisdom. Together, these habits work in harmony with the natural benefits of regular ejaculation. They create a daily rhythm of healing and protection. And in the final section, I'll share the message I wish every man over 60 could hear. This is the part where I bring everything home. The message I wish I could deliver personally to every man sitting in fear, in confusion, or in silence about his prostate health. You see, over my decades of clinical experience, I've met countless men who believed they were broken, men who thought their best years were behind them, men who were too embarrassed to ask the questions they needed to ask. But when they finally did, when they finally understood what was really happening inside their bodies, something remarkable happened. They started healing not just physically, but emotionally too. So here's what I want to say, as plainly as I can. Daily masturbation doesn't harm your prostate. It may be one of your body's strongest natural defenses. The Harvard study isn't a fluke. Ejaculating 21 times or more per month was shown to reduce prostate cancer risk by up to 33%. That's not internet myth, that's peer-reviewed science. And it's supported by everything I see in my own clinic. But even more importantly, it's not just about masturbation. It's about understanding your body, respecting its rhythms, and making space for healing. Whether you're supporting healthy cell turnover, flushing out old fluids, lowering stress, or eating right, you're giving your prostate exactly what it needs. Let's also be honest, aging is real. Hormones shift, energy changes, but none of that means you lose your power. None of it means you have to accept discomfort or shame or silence as your new normal. You are not broken. You are not too old. And your health story is still being written. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this: you have more control than you think. Control over your health, your habits, your future. You just need the right information and a willingness to act on it. Stay curious, stay proactive. And as always, I'm here with more science, more truth, and more support. As I wrap up this journey with you, I want to speak heart to heart. If you're a man over 60, I know how easy it is to feel like your body is slipping away from you. Maybe you've blamed yourself for changes you didn't understand. Maybe you've carried silent fears, wondering if a daily habit like masturbation was hurting you. And maybe, like so many of my patients, you were too embarrassed to ask. But now, you know the truth. You've learned that your body isn't failing. It's talking to you. And if you listen, really listen, it will guide you toward healing. Prostate health doesn't have to be a mystery. With the science we've explored today, whether it's flushing old fluid, supporting cell renewal, managing stress, or building daily habits, you now hold a powerful set of tools in your hands. Tools you can use today. Tools backed by real research and real stories. And above all, I hope you walk away with something even deeper. Peace of mind, the kind that comes when fear turns into understanding and shame transforms into strength. You're not alone. I'm walking this path with you, along with thousands of men who've made the choice to reclaim their health, one informed step at a time. So if this message resonated, take a moment to share it. Subscribe for more insights made just for men like you. And never forget, you're still strong, still worthy, and absolutely still in control. Be well, take care of your body, and I'll see you again soon.